a lot more cities into this total circle of 1 hour transport. So it means that within 1 hour, you can travel from one place to another place within this circle of transportation. And today we have also witnessed that some passengers, they are already waiting for their travel in the waiting hall. Where are you from? I'm from Shenzhou. I'm a native from Shenzhou City. So you're quite early. This is my friend. Together, we're about to embark on a visit to Hangzhou City. In the past, if we want to make that trip, we have to take our own car, and sometimes we also have to take the bus. If you go into that rush hour, it can be rather difficult for us to go around. Maybe I have to put on my facial mask at first. Yes, indeed, we still have to take countermeasures for COVID-19. So you frequently visit Hangzhou City, right? Yes, exactly, because my child goes to a school in Hangzhou. In the past, we would drive in our own car, and it would take more than 1 hour and even sometimes up to 2 hours. Today we have a high-speed railway station by our house. It's quite convenient. And we don't have to worry about the rush hours anymore, and we don't have to worry about the days when we cannot drive our own cars. And in the past, when my child was studying in a high school in Hangzhou City, we have to take that trip once a week, and today it's much more convenient for us to conduct the trip to Hangzhou. I've also mentioned before that we have made it available for people to travel directly from the city to Shanghai and even to Beijing. Yes, we have discussed just now that someday, if we have time, when everything's ready, we can also make a trip directly to Beijing, and we can share our gourmet food with the citizens over there. So I wish you a very pleasant journey. Today, as we can see that traveling has become much more convenient and easy for our citizens here. And if you know that Shenzhou City is very famous, starting by the ancient times, it has been described in the poems of the Tang Dynasty. So it's also one of the starting points for this beautiful scenery journey, the sightseeing from the Tang poems. Over there, we have also noticed a relief sculpture in bronze. It has a total length of more than 100 meters. It's the first time for us to see such a type of artifact of the bronze relief sculpture at a railway station. And on the relief sculpture, we can also see a lot of beautiful sights for visiting, for sightseeing. In order to give you better understanding about the local sceneries, I have invited an expert, the Deputy Secretary of Party of the local Administration for Tourism. Please say hi to everyone. Good morning, everyone. Just now I've been talking about the natural sceneries and also the cultural relics, as well as the other spots for sightseeing. I noticed that you have mentioned the path of the Tang poems, and we are just located amidst the key area of this Tang poems period. It's strictly correlated with our natural environment. Since the very first imperial dynasty, the Qing dynasty, we have a history of more than 2,200 years. We have abundant natural resources, and also we are the origins of lots of famous people. We are surrounded by 4 famous mountains, the Tianji Mountain, the Taibai Mountain, and the Tianmu Mountain, etc. We are located in a basin area and also traveled by a main river, the river Shanxi. So in the past, we say that we have this famous Shanxi River carrying the poems of the Tang Dynasty until today. And in the past, in ancient times, when the literates and also the other scholars, they would want to quit the court, they don't want to work for the emperor anymore, so they can choose to go back to the nature and hide themselves in the mountains. For example, in ancient days, as is described in the relief sculpture, Wang Xizhi, the most famous people for practicing the traditional Chinese calligraphy, has been hiding here during his days. For example, in the Kuaiji Mountain. And also a pair of persons, the father and the son. They're also very famous for their works, but they have chosen to stay away from the court for the government. And also a very famous literate, Xie Lingyun. And in our place, a lot of famous stories have taken place. Since the Tang Dynasty, famous people, including Li Bai, Du Fu, Bai Juyi, famous poets, together with the other 450 people, they have come to visit our place so that they can trace back to the earlier days of literates and scholars. And they have left a lot of poems to us. For example, from Li Bai. We would like to spend the rest of our days in the beautiful mountains. That is from one poem of the poet Li Bai. So from all the examples we have mentioned, we know that you have enriched culture and also abundant natural resources. And for all those persons described in the relief sculpture, we notice that it's stretched in a horizontal way. It has a total length of more than 100 meters. It's like a stroll of the beautiful picture made in the ancient times. And you know that this time we have put the new high-speed railway connecting Hangzhou, Shaoxing, and Taizhou together. Together, it will run through 9 stops. That means we have built 9 major railway stations along the path. If you are a fan of the traditional Chinese culture, you can try to take your drone and capture that image along the pathway of this high-speed railway. Over there, we can see the sculpture of the Buddha. In the era of the Wei Kingdom and Jin Kingdom, we didn't have very convenient conditions for traveling. So we have to set up those temporary hotels for people to take a rest. And this has also helped to boost the culture around those sites. Just now we have mentioned a lot of examples and stories about the culture and natural sceneries from the city of Hangzhou, but we know that you're also very famous for your snacks. Yes. We are the hometown to the famous snacks in the province of Zhejiang. We have cultivated this culture for snacks. Actually, there is a very long history of delicious snacks behind. We have more than 100 categories of snacks. For example, the Shengzhou traditional dumplings and the fried noodles. We have in total 3 very famous snacks to represent our hometown, the Shengzhou. And for the ravioli or the traditional dumplings of our city, we have also chain stores covering more than 2,000 spots across the country. So if we want to have a try on the traditional snacks, Do you have some recommendations for the restaurants? We have newly built a walking street along which we can count a lot of famous chain stores. And also by the exhibition center and the center for conferences, you can also find a cluster of those restaurants and stores. Do you have a prepared menu for the snacks? The sticky rice and also the dumplings as well as the fried noodles. I highly recommend you to have a try yourself on the snacks. For the sticky rice cakes, you can always find soup together with the rice cakes. Local people, they have a preference for the soup. It's also correlated with the local environment and climate, and also as a symbol of local people's character. We know just now there is a high-speed railway train going to the Taizhou direction, and in a few minutes, in about 10 minutes, we can expect to see another train going towards the direction of the Hangzhou city. I know that a lot of people would like to have a closer look at the Chinese speed, the speed of China, and how fast those high-speed railway trains can be. But before going on board, we would like to give you more questions. For example, the help of this high-speed railway train to the local development. In the past, we are constrained by the lack of convenient transport. We are very famous for the Yue opera, one of the traditional Chinese operas. And also we have our famous products, the star products. In the past, we don't have the high-speed railway trains. Even though we are located in a very good position in the Yangtze River Delta, but still, we feel that we are encountering a lot of difficulties. So as you have mentioned, despite the possession of a lot of precious resources, still you have the challenges in getting those products known by the rest of the public. And you have to spend a lot of time before coming to this place. So people, they are reluctant to come to our hometown and to have a visit themselves. Nowadays, since we have the luck to have this Hangzhou-Shaoxing-Taizhou high-speed railway, people are relieved. It's more convenient for them to go around. For example, for the tourist trip, they can embed this trip into their list for this year, and they can even consider a weekend trip. Today, the tourists would like to spend less time on the traveling, but more time on the exploration of a new spot of destination. They would like to save more time on the transportation means, for example, the trains, on the planes, etc., or on their cars. If you can take the high-speed trains, and you can get to our place within half an hour, then you would absolutely want to have to try and take this opportunity and to have the experience yourselves. You can visit this village to listen to this beautiful rhymes and also the tones of the traditional Yue opera. And you can also take several hours to try out those delicious snacks. And later on, you take another half an hour trip and back to your house. Today, since we can narrow down that waiting time to visit a place like ours, it can absolutely drive up the development of tourism. We can propose more interesting tourism products, and we can also allow our people to go outside. We are hometown to the sculpture of the roots of the trees and also sculpture of the bamboos. At the same time, we have a lot of intangible cultural heritages in our place. Once we can launch this trajectory of the Hangzhou-Shaoxing-Taizhou high-speed railway, we can make our products known by the rest of the country. So all those star products and also the intangible cultural heritage from our place can be known by our population in the country. So let me check out. Later on, by 10:03, we can expect the arrival of a train from Taizhou towards Hangzhou Dong Station. We have already made some footage about the speed of this railway train, and again, some information for you. We have a rather high ratio of bridge and tunnel. And when you travel by the tunnel, then immediately you can see that the whole horizon has been broadened and the beautiful image is just in front of your eyes. I've noticed that you've been working in a propaganda team, and today we have officially launched this high-speed railway connecting Hangzhou, Shaoxing, and Taizhou. I believe that it can also facilitate your job and also attract more visitors to your city. For all those 9 cities and townships along this path of traditional town poems, they can all notice an opportunity to grow faster. We have already this huge possession of abundant resources, naturally and culturally. So the final problem to solve is the means of transport. And today, very luckily, we have put this Hangzhou-Shaoxing-Taizhou high-speed railway into use. So thank you very much, sir, for giving us so much useful information about your city. And on behalf of our Administration of Tourism and Culture of Shenzhou City, I would like to invite all of you to come to our city and have a visit yourself so that you can have this personal experience on the delicious snacks and also the natural scenery of our city. I'm deeply attracted by the introduction of your site. I also hope that one day, personally, I can come to your city and have some in-depth exploration of the city culture and also the natural scenery. The next train is about to arrive, and we can see that after we put Hangzhou-Shaoxing-Taizhou high-speed railway into official use, since today we have included many more cities around this area into this 1-hour transportation circle. A lot of people, they are holding up their cameras and mobile phones to memorize this historic moment. And together with this new trajectory and this new line of high-speed railway connecting several new cities, we hope that more visitors and citizens living in this neighborhood could feel free to take the train and have a taste of the snacks. And thank you very much for staying with us.